Welcome to the Crochet Business School podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Thomas, and I'm going to help you to make your crochet business dreams a reality, stitch by stitch, without you being chained to your hook and being able to live that lifestyle you've been dreaming of using the power of your crochet. Do you have a dedicated workspace for your crochet? Do you have any kind of setup that is a space where you can, concentrate on your work and not get distracted? Now, I know this isn't always possible. When I started my crochet business, I didn't have a dedicated space. It just wasn't possible with the way our home was set up. So I worked on my couch. I had my little corner with a few things next to me, but everything else was spread out everywhere. And it made it not very efficient. If you're working in the same space that you live in, it's really easy to get distracted. It's really easy to just say, well, I'm just going to switch on the TV while I work. Because you're also living in the space, you get distracted by, house things and things you could be doing as well. If you're a procrastinator, it's the worst thing. And I love to procrastinate. I will find any excuse not to do the tasks that I don't want to do. I will think, I'll just put some washing on. Or that table's a mess, I'm going to go clean it. It's any excuse, and it distracts from your business workings. So it's always a great idea, if possible, to have your own workspace. I mean, now in the house that I live in now, I still don't have a room. I've got a space in the corner of my back room. I've got my desk. I've got my computer. I've got all my yarn in the cabinet next to me. Everything is in this corner. Do I always work in this corner? No, I don't. I still retreat to the couch sometimes. And it's not great for me. It's comfortable. It's cozy. It's what I was used to in my old house. But am I more productive there? No, I am definitely more productive when I'm in my little corner where I have everything here. Having your own space has so many benefits. You can separate your work time from your living space. It's far easier to keep your head down and, dedicate that period of time that you have to your crochet business when you have your own workspace. If you've got your own room, even better, because you can shut the door. It's a physical separation, and that's more helpful than you would believe. If you can see the distractions around you, it's much more difficult to cut that off. But it does make you more productive because you feel like you're working. You feel like you're in a workspace. And it's all to do with your mindset. It's far more easier to switch into work mode and keep personal away. But having everything in one space also have the benefits of, where everything is. You don't have things scattered around your house. Everything is in reach. If you suddenly realise when you're packing things up that you need a business card, you're not having to go scramble in a different room to figure out where you left it. You can organise your space. I mean, I don't sell what I make anymore, but I used to have this little, it's kind of like a storage cabinet with all the different drawers. I had all my packing slips. I had all my envelopes and postage bags all stacked up next to it. So I could go and pick out the packaging I needed with business card, a compliment slip, anything else I wanted to put in that package, and it was all in that dedicated little corner. And it was all in easy reach. It made things so much easier, and it's so much more efficient. It saves you time having everything together. And that's really the biggest benefit, is that it just makes you more efficient. You get more done in the time that you can dedicate to your business. So, being able, to have that efficiency, it saves you time. And when you don't have much time because you're doing this around a day job, around family, around other commitments, every minute counts. And so being able to have that efficiency and that productivity because you have that dedicated space is so worth trying to make it happen. Working from my couch, my biggest problem is distraction. And my biggest distraction is my phone. We can run our businesses on our phones. There's very little that I have to do at a computer these days. Recording this podcast is one of them. But most businesses don't have a podcast, so it's not that big of a problem. But being able to do everything on your phone also means it's the biggest distraction. Our phones are made to make our lives convenient, but when everything is on an app and those apps are all in front of you, it's really easy to switch between them and really easy to get distracted by all those little buttons. It's easy to say, oh, well, I'm getting a bit bored of editing my pictures. I'll give myself a break. And then you click the button to open Facebook or Instagram, and next thing, half an hour's gone by and you've done nothing but scroll. It's the biggest time sucker. So when I'm at my desk, it's much easier to leave my phone alone. I've got my computer open. And although you can have kind of apps on your computer, it's not as simple to open them as it is on a phone. It's not as easy. It's not as quick. So you don't tend to do it as much. So sometimes you have no choice but to start your business on your phone, but I would definitely recommend getting a laptop or at the very least a Chromebook as soon as possible. Thankfully, very affordable. I mean, my laptop is a second-hand one. I got it refurbed from a second-hand shop and it was very cheap to get it. I think I spent about £150 on it. And just having a laptop instead of working on my phone, it paid for itself just through the not getting sucked into, the apps. I've saved myself so much time. I get things done more quickly and more easily. The next step in creating your profitable crochet business is awaiting you. I have the tools and tips you need to get paid for the craft you love without tucking all of your time away inside the Hooked on Success podcast membership. There are membership tiers to suit everyone's budget and support needs. To find out more, click on the link beneath this podcast or go to crochetbusinessschool.com/success to discover how you can get in today. Just because it's a laptop and not a phone. Having your own dedicated workspace can also mean just having things that are dedicated to your business only. I only use my laptop for my crochet business. My phone is used for all my personal stuff as well, which also feeds into I'm less productive with it. When my laptop is open, I'm working. When my laptop is open and I'm at my desk, it's even better. I think it's easy not to realize how important a dedicated workspace is for a business, especially when it's just you and you're working from home. And it's really easy to think, well, if I'm doing this, I'm going to do it in comfort. I'm going to sit in my cozy couch on my favorite chair and I'm just going to chill while I do this. But that leads us to kind of not treating it seriously. Because when you're working, you're not supposed to be lounging on a couch, you're not supposed to be sunning it outside while working. There's a disconnect. And it can easily lead to not being so productive. If you can do it and you can be productive that way, fantastic. You're living the dream. But for many of us, that's not possible. Our minds just don't quite work that way. I mean, I know just from years of trial and error that having my own, little office set up, I work better this way. Do I always use it? No, I don't. But I also know that if I don't use it, I'm not going to get as much stuff done. And that's just the way my mind works. You have to figure out what works best for you. And yes, sometimes that is a compromise between what we need and what we can actually do. It's not always possible to have your own little office space. So you kind of have to do what you can to create an environment where you can focus on your crochet business and, have that setup where psychologically you can get into the zone and treat it as a business and not just a hobby that brings you some extra cash. Because that's a whole other thing. Having a little office setup can make you feel much more professional. It can help you get into that headspace of, this is a business, I need to work. And not, I have a business, I probably should work. It's the difference between those two ways of thinking are absolutely massive. And they have a huge impact on how successful your business is. If you can get that workspace, if you have the option of setting something up, then do it. If you can't, then try sitting somewhere where you wouldn't normally sit. If you usually sit on the left-hand side of your couch in the evenings to chill out, go sit on the other side. That then becomes your workspace. Having that separation has a massive impact. Yes, you might be sitting on the same couch that you usually do, but because it's in a different space, it can help you get into that mindset of, this is my workspace. Just a different place to where you chill out in an evening, to where you relax. That separation can be so important. And, where my little corner is still downstairs in my living room. I can see my couch and where I hang out usually. But even though there's like 3 meters between that space and this space, it still makes a massive difference in how productive I am. It still makes a massive difference in how much I can get done in the time that I have. This setup is well worth it for me, just in how much I can get done, just from being able to distance myself from the distractions. Working on my phone on my couch, I didn't get as much done because distractions were too easily there, because I wasn't in, this is my workspace and not my personal time. I wasn't in that headspace. So right now it would be so easy for me to go back to my couch. My phone, I can see it. It's sat on the shelf of my desk, but I'm not as tempted to reach out for it and start scrolling through those apps. Because now my head is where it needs to be. I'm focused on my business time because this is the workspace. Working from home, having your own business can be very convenient. It's, it gives you a massive amount of freedom, but it also means that you do need to make sure you're in that headspace and not getting distracted. We don't have a boss asking us, why haven't you met this deadline? We don't have someone telling us, you need to do tasks X, Y, and Z today. or we've got issues. You are your own boss, and that has pros and cons. The cons being that you are responsible for what work you get done in the time that you have. And if you don't get it done, you're not getting paid. So making sure that you are focused in your business with the time that you have to make those profits is so important. So however way you do it, you've got to separate yourself from your personal time and your business time and not get the two of them, mixed up together so you're getting distracted. However that looks for you, you've got to explore it and find out how you're going to do it with your home arrangements and the space that you have. If you can have your own room, you've got it made. If that's not possible, then you've got to figure out how to do it. That might take some trial and error, but separating your relaxation space from your workspace, even if that is just sitting on the other side of your couch, can make a massive difference to how productive and efficient you are. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Crochet Business School podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes and please subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Crochet Business School. Subscribe to the channels because I would love to hear from you and what you're up to in your own crochet business. If you have any questions about creating and growing your own crochet business, please send them my way and I'll answer them in future episodes. So thank you for joining me and I shall see you in the next episode. Bye for now.